Outside of the draft lottery, one of the bigger questions that the Chicago Sky had to answer this offseason is who was going to be the next head coach after moving on from head coach Teresa Weatherspoon. Well, today the Chicago Sky have settled in on their new head coach. We're going to talk about it all and more, but first, we got to play this intro.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. I'm one of the hosts here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it, man. So the Chicago Sky have finally now settled in on their next head coach. I know a lot of Chicago Sky fans were hoping that it could be maybe Stephanie White. She goes to the Indiana Fever, and the Chicago Sky settle in on a assistant coach, Tyler Marsh, that has been with the Las Vegas Aces. This was a guy that I talked about on one of my episodes in which I went over some of the assistants on staffs around the NBA that the Chicago Sky could very well and should take a look at. And Tyler Marsh brings a lot of experience potentially to the Chicago Sky team as far as being somebody who's developed. He's been in charge of development, things like that. He actually has a really nice resume when it all comes down to it. Like, is he the flashy signing? No. And I know there are going to be a lot of Chicago Sky fans that aren't necessarily the happiest with this signing because they went from one first-time head coach to another first-time head coach. But Tyler Marsh has been with the Las Vegas Aces for the last 3 seasons. He helped that team win back-to-back championships. He was the assistant coach, and one of the key things, he was head of player development. He's actually been credited a big part of A'ja Wilson and Jackie Young really taking their games to the next step. So with this Chicago Sky team being a team full of young women who are still really developing, trying to hone their skills, getting Tyler Marsh could be a really good signing for them, even with it being him being a first-time head coach. Angel Reese has already responded to this as well, basically with an okay. She is happy with the signing, it seems like. We'll see how she feels about it. I'm sure she's going to talk about it on an episode of her podcast. But listen, Chicago Sky, listen, he's already talked to Angel Reese before, apparently, that he's spoken to Angel Reese about her performance on the court before. That was even before the Chicago Sky hired him. So there's already maybe a developing relationship with Angel Reese and with Tyler Marsh there. And that's going to be an important part of this, especially with Angel Reese being really hurt by the firing of Teresa Weatherspoon. Bringing in Tyler Marsh and a coach that maybe he feels comfortable with, it is what it comes down to. This is a really good signing by the Chicago Sky. He's also been in the NBA before, working with the Indiana Pacers. So this is not a guy who's like just coming out of nowhere and all of a sudden getting a head coaching position. He's developed players before. He's been head of player development. He's been an important part of a championship team winning before. So it's a really good signing, in my opinion, by the Chicago Sky. Not the flashy signing, but sometimes the flashy ones aren't the ones that you need, right? You just need to get the right signing. And him being somebody who comes from that Becky Hammond tree, on top of his experience elsewhere, also this is a guy I really like. And there were some other assistants that I would like to see the Chicago Sky. Katie Smith was one with the Lynx, things like that. But I think this is a really, really good signing by the Chicago Sky and a coach who's already had been interviewed on some other coach vacancies out there before. This is a good and quality signing. I know it's not the flashy one, but this is a really good and quality signing. Steve-O in the building, who's out on podcast PTO. He can't join us. He's out handling business with the fam. Says, I like the move a lot. I like this one a lot as well. All the Aces staff coming up. Yeah, and that's what happens when you have the team that you've built like the Sky. I mean, like the Aces have built themselves over years. You start seeing teams start picking away at those assistants there. So, we'll see what comes down to it. Comfort says, hey, Hazel. My name's Haize, not Hazel, but good to see you as well. I feel like it's best if she have someone to really touch her and keep her focused on basketball and winning the game as well for the season. Agree with you on that one. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. Like this, again, it's not the flashy move, but it's probably the right move. And that's what the Chicago Sky needed to do here is make the right move. And, a lot of people are going to say what they got to say about this one. But me, for one, I think this was a good signing. I think this was the right decision. And we're going to see how it continues to go. He's been under a lot of good coaches, and that's usually a standing of somebody who's going to really be able to be successful. They understand the game, how to prepare, right? They've seen those type of things, and let's see if that's going to hold true for Tyler Marsh as well. What is that? How to get rid of that? I believe if he does, he should keep her focused on the ball and focus on winning the game. Yeah, And that's what your job is overall, not just about one player. It's about what you're bringing to the team. This is a good signing, not just for Angel Reese, for Camila Cardoso, for Kennedy Carter, maybe even for Michaela Oniwerde to really refine her game. This is somebody. I always like it when you, for a young team that's developing, when you bring in coaches that have been heads of player development, because that shows you that their mind is on how to get the best out of players and also how to get players to refine their games. That's what we need here, right? Yeah, Camilla's going to go over in China and do a lot of that. Angel's going to work on a game over the the winter and over in Unrivaled. But once they get back and with the facilities as well, I think Tyler Marsh is going to build a really quality staff as well, right? He's been somebody who's been on tons of staffs, both in the NBA and in the WNBA. So he's going to have that mind on how to try to find that next great assistant for himself as well, which could be a really important part. Let's see. And develop a lot for the Pacers from 2020 to 21. That's a really good thing there as well. They need a different man coach anyway because they don't need nobody else from another team. I mean, well, he is from another team, but I get what you're saying. Sono says, Snow. That's how you probably pronounce that. He's tweeted a few times this season about Angel Reese in the sky. This is a good hire. Exactly. But he kind of looks like Juwan Howard. That is very accurate. And I honestly did not think about that until I just read that, but that is extreme. He's like short Juwan Howard. That's crazy. Yes, when Angel and Camilla were drafted, he tweeted the sky was in good hands because they now have someone who won't take shit. He tweeted that around June, and today he's Angel and Camilla's coach. Good work. Good work. Chris with the super chat. Thank you for supporting the channel at any level, my brother. We appreciate you. Did you see the SYD tweet earlier in the season where he was positively tweeting about the sky and Sid quoted, "Who the hell is Sid? Who's Sid? Who are we calling Sid? Y'all be abbreviating people's names, and it's not what I call him to be throwing me off. Does this mean you're leaving? Oh, I don't. Who the fuck is Sid? I'm sure I know who it is. I'm not thinking right now. He also spent 3 seasons as an assistant coach in the G League for the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. I mean, he's a really traveled coach. It's a multi-year contract, so he's getting more than 1 year. I mean, well, Teresa Weatherspoon signed a multi-year contract as well. So, the one thing in the NBA with any sport with coaches, yeah, you can sign a multi-year contract. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to see it out, but I feel really good about the signing. I think this is going to be a good signing for the Chicago Sky. I think this is really going to work out for the team. I'm not some privacy. What? Why is X not opening? I hate Twitter. I really do hate Twitter. Sydney Carlson. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Like, who the hell is Sid? I wonder about his ability to call game-winning plays. Well, I mean, no coach just call game-winning plays. They make smart plays. So if you can draw up smart plays, then you can draw up game-winning plays. Like there's no home run playbook, right? It's just simply made that if you are a good X's and O coach, you draw up good plays. So he's gonna be fine there. He's gonna be fine there. He's definitely going to help Angel and Camilla with developing their game. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a big fact. But I really like the sign. I think this is a really good signing for the Chicago Sky. And we just got to see what he's going to bring to this team. It's going to leave a lot of room for development. Him being somebody in charge of player development is really big there. And I also think just what he's done over the course of his WNBA career and what he did in the NBA as well. Like this is a really, really damn good signing by the Chicago Sky. Listen, if you're not going to go out and get a veteran head coach, things like that, especially while you're trying to build a franchise. One thing Jeff Pagliosha said is that he wants somebody who's going to be here for a long time. This is the type of signing that's going to get you and keep you somewhere for a long time. Like you develop with this. This is what we thought was going to happen with Teresa Weatherspoon, what I wanted to see happen with Teresa Weatherspoon, but you're bringing in somebody who now is going to build a system, right? Who's built a system, who's been part of really good teams before, and they're going to keep trying to develop this thing and work it on out. And that's what you want, right? When you're in this place of trying to really revamp your franchise, you want a coach that's going to come in, that's going to build a culture, and that's what you're hoping that Tyler Marsh is going to be able to do. And hopefully he's successful at it, right? And keep in mind, this guy got 2 first-round picks coming in too. So we're getting even younger again, right? We're not done getting younger, right? That's the thing about this, right? It'd be different if and it wouldn't really change much, but if we're just saying that, oh yeah, we got 2 players in Angel and Camilla, and we're going to try to flesh that out with veterans or whatever else, the Sky aren't done, right? We're going to be adding young players for the next couple of years. And so having somebody that can develop and that can cultivate that talent over the next few years is a key thing for the Chicago Sky team. And I think they got the right guy. I feel like they got the right guy. And it just got to be told on the basketball court now. You got to go. He has to go out and prove it. And his relationship with these players is going to be big. How he develops with his team as well is going to be big. And then this still does not take the onus off Jeff Pagliosha either. Jeff Pagliosha got to go get to work. You got to get to work. You got to get the right guys, the right ladies, the right personnel in here that Tyler Marsh can now use to and develop correctly, and that fits whatever system he's trying to draw up, right? That's the next big thing in this is how does Tyler Marsh now develop his head coaching identity? Yes, you've been an assistant in some really good places, and nobody can take that away from you. But now you got to go out and build your system. You got to go out and build your scheme. You got to go out and build your identity. Because listen, Becky Hammond ain't about to save you now that it's your job, right? Like this is you. And so what you've done with that, with the Aces got you the job. But what you do here with the Sky over a long period of time is what's going to keep you this job. They got to go out and figure it out. And I really like the signing by Tyler Marsh. I think this is a good one. And I think it's going to work out for the Sky. I think the Sky got their guy. And now he just got to go out and prove that he one of them ones. That's what he got to do. He got to prove that this investment, this trust that the Sky is putting in him and that the Sky are hoping that he's going to do, you got to go out and prove it right. Go out there and get it done. If you can get it done, we're going to be all right. So, but that's my thought process on it, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you guys so much, man. We're going to keep bringing the content. We're going to get on there really good. Let's see. You know he's going after a point guard for our team. I mean, yeah, we need a point guard. So, but here's the thing. Are the Sky at the point that he could very well say, let's go out and get the best player available because we're still at the place of just needing the great talent. I'm not saying that that's necessarily what they're going to do. I'm just saying that we'll see what happens there. But this is a point guard deep draft. So it makes sense that the Sky should very well be able to get their point guard of the future in this draft. And that's important for Angel, the development of Camilla. That's important for the team. And we need some three-point shooting, right? What's going to happen with Brenner Maxwell? What else do you get later on in this draft? So watching how this thing develops is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's really going to be fun. The WNBA took away a lot of women's jobs. I get what you're saying. Listen, I can't deny what you're saying in that as far as from the optics version of it. But I mean, I'll say this. As a franchise, you got to just go out there and get the right person. Got to go out there and get the right person. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Love you guys, man. Make sure you guys are staying in tune with us, man. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're following us at Chicago Sky Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, Chicago Sky Central at gmail.com. And then lastly, most important thing, I want to hear from you guys on this one. So sound off in the mailbag. The number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. And I'll see you lovely and beautiful people probably tomorrow. Actually had an episode planned anyway, so I'll probably get that episode out either late tonight or tomorrow. Love you guys. Go Sky.